sending love to you all out there on the YouTube world. The Garmin Enduro watch. My name is Donato, England Marathon Masters runner and also current Guinness World Record holder at marathon distance. Yes guys, welcome back to my channel, the Garmin Enduro watch, the first watch I've had to buy in almost 5 years because sadly my Garmin Fenix 5 decided to give up the ghost, almost. So I'd really appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that alarm bell because I don't do these types of tech reviews that often. Yes, once every 5 years maybe. So I'd really appreciate your support in that. But I'm going to go through how I've got on with this since mid-October, late October when it first arrived. And it's been an absolute joy. As you can see, it is a beast when you hold it up alongside my arm here. Yes, it is huge. I know, hence the name Enduro. Be sure to stick along to the very end because I'm going to go through the good, the bad and the ugly about this watch because whilst it is an amazing watch and I do love it, so a bit of a caveat, yes, I do love it and I'm not biased by what was sent with the actual product when I bought these. Yes, that's what I was sent by where I bought it from the website, wiggle.com. So I'm not paid in any way. Yes, I pay for my own stuff. I came across this by accident. Yes, it's one of those happy accidents. At the time, you may have seen a few months back, I'd done the review of the Apple Ultra. I don't have it. I just talked about it, gave my views. And in the research for that, I came across solar powered watches. That's right. And the first watch that I came across was the Garmin Instinct. And I did purchase that. And it was a fine watch. But for me, the size of it, and because I was used to the watch face of the Fenix and the layout, it didn't really work for me. Fantastic watch. If you've got any of these watches, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and your news and views. But the Instinct didn't really work for me. So I continued to persist with my Fenix, but the battery just wasn't really lasting. I never worn it 24/7. I've not worn it 24/7 for nearly 2 years now, 3 years. And yeah, it just wasn't lasting and it was coming to the end. I don't know if organizations, companies, have you heard of this phrase, built-in obsolescence? You know, where they're built to not work beyond a certain amount of time. I try and keep a straight face here whilst I'm talking about this because I don't really feel comfortable reviewing tech gear, whatever, because I'm not experienced in this at all. There's a whole shed load of YouTubers, professional tech reviewers out there who buy this stuff when it first comes out and review them and say all the lovely amazing stuff, but I'm going to give you a review from the perspective of me as a runner. So I'm going to give you my views on this watch from that perspective and how I've got on. So I'm going to go through all the bits and pieces. There's a lot of technicalities and I'm going to scroll through all the features because it is packed with features, as you can imagine. The reason why I probably went for this one, the Enduro, as opposed to Enduro 2. The Enduro 2 was brought out, I think it was around September of this year. So I knew that there would be some deals to be had on the older versions because if they worked last year, they're still good enough for now. Yeah. And that's my view with a lot of products. It's the same with shoes. I don't need the latest, greatest shoes. I just need shoes that work for me. And how I got on with this, it was pretty amazing. So I'm going to go through some stats now in terms of its size, dimensions, and its physical size is 51 millimeters by 51 by 14.9. Its display size is 1.4 inches. Interesting, it gives display size in that. 35.56 millimeters, the actual display size. So in terms of pixels, it's 280 by 280. Whatever that means, and its weight, this particular model is a steel version and it's 71 grams. Now Garmin has some stats in terms of how long its battery life is. It is solar powered. It does have a lovely little feature here that tells you when it's picking up solar power, and it's really good. Now this is where the battery, it measures in days, not hours. Yeah, it's days that this measures it in. So Garmin claims a battery life of up to 50 days. 50 days. Yeah, that's 65 days with solar charge. And when it talks about 65 days solar charge, that's minimum 3 hours per day at whatever lux value it talks about. Again, means nothing to me, but it needs to be out in the sun quite a lot. The GPS charge, get this, 70 hours and up to 80 hours with solar. And it has something called Expedition GPS, where it lasts for 65 days. So if you like going on expeditions, which I'm sure what Enduro is all about, you're 65 days and 95 days with solar. It really does pack a punch. But I'm sure you'd like to know, what are the actual figures? How did I really get on with this? So I'm going to go through some stats right now of what I done and how long my battery actually lasts. Right, so the statistics for myself with a full charge, as soon as I charge it fully, it says 50 days. 50 days, massive, yeah, massive. So what I done, I'd fully charged, it was Wednesday the 26th of October at 7 p.m. Quite specific time there that I charged it, and it said 50 days charge. And the next time I came to charge it, when it went down to 0, was Friday the 18th of November at 5 p.m. So that's 23 days of actual usage. And in that period, if you've been following me for the past few months, you will know I've been in 10K training. I've been in training for the Telford 10K. So a lot of training, gym work, all sorts of stuff, walking as well. So let me go through what I'd completed in that time for it to have lasted for me for 23 days. That's nearly a whole month of usage where it's on my wrist 24/7, and it recorded everything that I was doing, as I said, from running, yoga, walking, elliptical, rowing, all sorts of stuff, gym work. So let me go through the numbers that I had on there. So in terms of running, I completed 18 runs in those 23 days, 240 kilometers. And in terms of time, that was 1,200 minutes of elapsed time running with GPS. Walking, again with GPS, I've done 15 walks of around 17 hours of walking. Yep. Yoga, I completed 18 sessions of yoga. I normally do a quick yoga session after a run, so that correlates with the numbers of runs. Each one was average around 15 minutes-ish, so that's 270 minutes of yoga. The elliptical I was on 6 times, just as a bit of a warm-up in the gym. So 60 minutes on that. Rowing, I rowed 4 times, 80 minutes, so I do about 20 minutes on the rower, so 80 minutes of that. And then in terms of whopping steps, how many steps I completed, it was a whopping 500,000 steps in that month. And that's only approximate now. So, you know, I was adding things up manually on there. So in total, in terms of GPS usage and so on, I managed 44 hours of usage. 44 hours. So that's not too far off 70 hours on the Garmin website, but hey, splitting hairs now. So with this beauty of a watch, in terms of the details, as you can see, it has a nice face. It is pretty clear. The thing that I find different, and I'll talk more about this later on in terms of the good, bad and the ugly, is the actual strap. It's one of these elastic straps where it's Velcro operated. Yeah, so you can pull it along or that. So it has the little attachments here where you can basically stick that on and pull it through as much as you want and then attach that on there. So some people see it as good, flexible. For me, I don't particularly like that. But when I go through all the features, when you look at the website on Garmin, there's an awful amount of features. So Garmin has a list price at the moment of $549, which is quite different to the Enduro 2, which is £930. Wow, who can spend £930 on a watch? But anyway, going back to the Enduro, steel with grey ultra fit nylon strap. So scrolling down in terms of the overview, it is quite an epic thing. Go the distance, it says. and talks about all sorts of things on there. Designed to race, made to endure, get tireless performance. So we're going through the features: solar charge battery, power manager, trail run VO2 max. It also has ultra run, climb bro feature, MTB dynamics. And then we go through heat and altitude, acclimation, performance metrics, recovery advisor. Also, it looks at daily suggested workouts, which might be something I'll be going into more detail later on. Multi-GNS supports navigation sensors, sports apps, adventure racing app, Pace Pro technology, backcountry ski, surf ready features. It goes on and on. Focus on your fitness. Wrist-based heart rate, which is a plus for some people. PulsoX sensor, advanced sleep monitoring, body battery energy monitoring, respiratory tracking, hydration tracking, smart notifications, Garmin Pay, safety and tracking features, and finally Connect IQ Store. As you can see, it has so much on there that most of those features, I don't think us regular folks will ever get to use all of those features. So is it a bit OTT? Let me know in the comments below. As this is just a quick overview of this lovely watch, I'm going to go through the good, bad and the ugly from my initial impressions of this watch, because it's not all buttercups and roses. I'll talk about the good first. The good is it's a lovely large screen, bright screen. I absolutely love it. It's obviously packed with loads and loads of features, as you saw when I was scrolling through there from the website. I don't think I'll ever get round to all those features, but I'm going to try some out over the coming months, and you may find some of them of useful benefit, and we'll see how we get on with those. But for me, I just use this for my runs, walking and tracking on that. I do have something coming up next year, all will be revealed, why I feel the need of having one of these as opposed to a running Garmin watch, because I did look at those. It was a lot of money, even at discounted. It was £330 from Wiggle. Yes, I know. I got the Haribos still. I haven't eaten those yet, so I'm not biased in any way. I did pay that with my own money. It wasn't a special discount for me. You can go onto the Wiggle website and buy it at that price now. So I thought I'd invest. It was about £100, £120 more than I would have spent on one of the running watches that I wanted. So for the sake of doing an upgrade, it is a lot of watch for that amount of money that we get now. So I think it's pretty amazing. That's the good. The bad, unfortunately, as I've started using this watch and wearing it 24/7, for me, I'm probably doing something wrong, but I've got an awful rash now on my wrist. It doesn't look good at all, yeah? So I've had to move the watch when I wear it 24/7 to my other wrist now, and I'm having to apply some special cream on there to try and get rid of that soreness there. So I don't know if you guys get that as well. Leave it in the comments below. I know when I put this picture up on social media, a lot of people commented about taking the watch off when you shower, or drying yourself off or whatever. I take the watch off when I shower. It doesn't get wet. I think it might be the sweat and perspiration on my wrist. So there's a lot of things to consider there. Maybe because I've not had a watch on there for 24/7, it just needs to get used to that, shall we say. Is that the right word? It needs to acclimatize. Is that the word for it for our wrists? But I'd love to hear from you if you've had similar type experiences with whatever smartwatch or sports watch that you do have. The bad, well, I mentioned the strap. For me, right, some of you might like this particular strap. I don't really like it. I like it when it just buckles, and maybe, just maybe, it's why it's causing me my wrist rash, soreness, or whatever it is. I'm probably pulling this too tight to hold onto my wrist. So for me, the ugly side of this is I don't particularly like the wristband. I know I can change it. I can go and buy a Garmin strap for this. It's very different, but really I shouldn't feel the need to do that. Do you? So what can I say about the Garmin Enduro watch? It is absolutely amazing. In terms of comparing with other watches, when I did do the review of the Apple Ultra, I think they're completely two different camps. I regard this more as a sports watch, whereas Apple I see more as a smartwatch, and they don't really compete. It's like comparing apples and bananas, so I shouldn't really be comparing those. So I know some of you guys watching this might be Apple fans. Leave it in the comments below. Or are you Garmin, or are you Chorus, or whatever? I think it's a great watch, and as the second version had come out at $330 from Wiggle, and I'm sure it's available on other websites as well, I feel this is an absolute bargain. And based on that price, it's still a lot of money, you know, not to be sniffed at, because I know you can pick up some standard running watches like the Garmin Forerunner 45 and 55 for around £100, £120, and which is great for just the running. But as I said, I've got an adventure coming up possibly next year where I'm going to need this big time. So I won't be giving anything away on what's going to be happening there, but I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what watches you use at the moment, if any. You may recall when I done my 10k improvement 10k in the 4 months, I had no watches or anything like that. I didn't really track anything that was going on. So sometimes I think we tend to overcomplicate things with our tech. I'd like to keep it simple, and I certainly use it for the type of things that I like to do. So for me, it does give me a massive thumbs up. So initial impressions, fantastic. Obviously, I'm keeping it. I'm not sending it back. As I did, unfortunately, with the Garmin Instinct, I did send that one back because it didn't really work for me. So hopefully you found this useful in some way. If you had, please do give this a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that alarm bell. And I look forward to sharing you some more insights in this Garmin Enduro as the months progress over the end of this year, 2022, and going into 2023. Do you have any plans of buying a new smartwatch, sports watch? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe we can all have a chat and talk about each other on there in the community there of what gadgets we use and how we get on with those. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your time. See you all soon in the next video. Bye bye bye. Ooh, I think it's time I hit this, yeah? Ooh, let's open this packet. Gosh. Can't beat a bit of Haribo, eh? But anyway, no, this hasn't impacted my bias at all about reviewing the watch. Yeah. Nice. Do you like your Haribo? Or is it too much of a sugar rush? What's your favourite one? Oh, here's my heart. Sending love to you all out there on the YouTube world. Oh, that's my heart in San Francisco. There's another song there, isn't there?